Welcome, everybody, to our monthly Second Saturdays poetry reading. My name is Dan Kerr. I have the privilege of being your moderator for today's monthly poetry reading, hosted by local poet Kathy Donnelly. We start reasonably promptly at 11 a.m., so we're starting at 11:04. So if you would like to participate in the open read, please remember to put your name in chat, and I will call upon you in the order that you enter your name in chat. Please keep your microphone muted. J.R. Tarek or Judy Tarek has a couple of poems about what happens when people with barking dogs and ringing phones and all that sort of stuff. So keep your microphone muted out of respect for the other poets. That background noise can get quite distracting. Feedback is a gift. So if you'd like to give me any feedback, if you want to be added to the poet component of the Friends of the Church list, to get a copy of this recording, just send me an email. It's very simple. Daniel B, the B is for Basil, Daniel B. Kerr at verizon.net, and I'll be happy to put you on the list, and also would be happy to consider any feedback that you might have, things that you like that we do, things that we can do better. Kathy and I have been doing this now almost 6 years, but we continue to refine it based on your input, so don't be shy if you have input. So we started a little bit later today because there were some people who were logging in. But we go directionally from 11 to 12 o'clock. I'll get you settled. I'll turn you over to Kathy. Kathy will read a poem from a local poet, and she will introduce our featured reader. We're very pleased to have Marsha M. Nelson with us today. So Marsha is our featured poet. She'll read for about 20 minutes. Then we'll have the open read, and all of you who want an opportunity to read one of your poems, you can, and I'll call upon you in groups of 3, so you won't be surprised. Remember when I call upon you to turn your microphone on. And then we'll bring Marsha back for an encore. And then after Marsha's encore, we'll go back to Kathy, who will have some concluding remarks, and we'll announce the poet for March. Again, we do this every month. We recognize some of you are here for Marsha, and that's great. Welcome. But we do this every month. So we hope that if you joined us today, that you'll consider joining us in the future. This is one of several outreach programs of All Souls Church in Stony Brook. Kathy always reminds me that people are here for poetry, not for evangelization. So we do a whole bunch of things, but I will mention 3 things that we do that the poetry community is actively involved. What do I mean actively involved? They come to these programs. So we have a monthly concert series called Saturdays at 6. People always ask me what time. It's at 6 o'clock. That's why we call it Saturdays at 6. So we have a concert in the historical church on March 7th, and it's the Serenade Duo. They've performed before. It's a local couple. They do wonderful music together. They have a special chemistry, and they provide beautiful music. That's on March 7th. Then we do this is a picture from when we used to do the poetry in the church. We now do it virtually, so the second Saturday is the second Saturday of each month. We also do Native American drumming as well, which is a healing experience that comes out of the Native American people experience. That Native American drumming is a spiritual experience that's thousands of years old. We do that once a month as well. If you're interested in these, just reach out to me or visit the website. You can get more information on them. Once a year, we combine the poetry, the music, and the Native American drumming in a very special program, which we call Conversations of the Sacred. The date we have for it this year is Saturday, September 5th. You'll see the poets last year who read. You'll recognize, in fact, many of them are here today. I recognize Barbara in the audience. Kathy is obviously here. I'm obviously here. So we have sacred poems that are read by local poets. And then after each poem, we have a musical interlude, which is either on the historical tracker organ that we have there. That's our organist, Dan Kinney, playing. Or we have our Native American drummer playing. He does some Native American drumming. And in back of him, the next picture where you see Carolyn Emerson in the lower right-hand corner, where she's reading, you see the 2 musicians from the university playing. So each spiritual reading is followed by a musical interlude either on the organ, the Native American drummer, or the musicians from the university. If you're interested in being one of those readers, let me know. I'll start asking for volunteers probably another couple of months, but if you want to mark your calendar, it's September 5th this year. Last thing I'll mention before I turn you over to Kathy is the church, historical churches on the historical registry of National Registry of Historic Places. It was designed by probably the most famous architect of the 1800s, early 1900s, Stanford White. But when Stanford White designed All Souls, the life expectancy in the US was less than 50 years. So he never really concerned himself with accessibility. And the church is at the top of a hill. So once a year, we do a 5K race, 2K walk, which is called Souls for All Souls. And the purpose of this race is twofold. One, it celebrates the relationship we have with the community and the various ways we serve the community. It also raises funds to make the church accessible to all. And so far, we've raised about $110,000 toward the accessibility project through the annual race. Each year, we have a group you'll recognize going from left to right. You'll recognize Barbara, you'll recognize the two Barbaras, and you'll recognize Wendy, you'll recognize Dr. Bronson, who's here today, you'll recognize Kathy. Each year, we have a group called the Live Poets Society, which so far they walk in the race, but we could always, if we do have some poets who want to run in the 5K race, they can. But this particular group chooses, with the inspirational rattling there of Barbara, they participate in the walk. So you might want to mark your calendars for that as well. Yeah, that's on October 4th this year. Okay, and with that, I will turn you over to Kathy. Kathy, over to you. Please remember to turn your microphone on.
So I'd like to start by just saying welcome to the people we didn't already welcome. And that's Megan and Shu and Don, Sandra, and Namrita, Richard, Sherry, Rhea. Thank you for coming today. We have a great reader. I think many of you know her already, Marsha, and so we'll hear from her in a minute. What I'd like to just say is I do have a poem I pick to introduce our reading. Not local poets, though. It's people that we should all aspire to. And today, it's a poet who is from Russia, and his name is Ilya Kaminsky. So I'm imagining that's very familiar to Richard. I see you shaking your head, to us all. Fabulous, fabulous. And at a very young age, like 4, he got the mumps, and it left him deaf. He is a professor and written books, and he's absolutely fabulous. And he did all that with a lack of hearing. I believe he had hearing aids later in life. So I'm not sure why it would improve, but a lifetime of being deaf, or a young lifetime. I mean, I can't believe what people can accomplish with things that I would be so devastated to have. I can't imagine being deaf. Anyway, dancing in Odessa. In a city ruled jointly by doves and crows, doves covered the main district and crows the market. A deaf boy counted how many birds there were in his neighborhood's backyard, producing a 4-digit number. He dialed the number and confessed his love to the voice on the line. My secret, at the age of 4, I became deaf. When I lost my hearing, I began to see voices. On a crowded trolley, a one-armed man said that my life would be mysteriously linked to the history of my country. Yet my country cannot be found. Its citizens meet in a dream to conduct elections. He did not describe their faces, only a few named Roland, Aladdin, Sinbad. That's it. So remarkable. I think all of his poetry books are in English, though. And I'm not sure when he started writing, but they're in English. Fascinating. My next privilege is to introduce Marsha M. Nelson. She's an award-winning poet, playwright, and screenwriter. She is the author of 2 poetry books. Night Visions, which we just discussed, was in 2006, did you say, Marsha? You're on mute. 2006.
Yeah, 2006 was the first one, and the second one was 2016.
So old books, but I'm imagining worth the read. And well, hope so. They're coming in the mail. All rise, stand up for holy gates. All rise, stand up, holy gates. Fascinating. That makes me want to see what you're writing about there. Her poem, I Thought It Was Love, won the Nassau County Poet Laureate Society 2016 contest. Some of her poetry has appeared in literary magazines and anthologies, such as the NCPLS Review, that's Nassau County Poet Laureate Society Review, and PPA, which is performance.
Poetry performance.
poetry performance anthology. Thank you. Literary magazine. I just, I just stop for 1 second and tell you that I asked Judy why I haven't been solicited for, well, I actually have, but not for an anthology anymore, just the contest. And that has to do with, making all these books that we make and then people not buying them. And so they've gone to a contest instead. So I guess for a while anyway, no more anthologies. But what a privilege to ever have been a part of that. Long Island Quarterly, which of course is George Wallace. And what an honor for George to choose your poem and put it in his anthology now on the computer. Poets Almanac, Bard's Annual, Bach in the Afternoon, Fog and Light, Cannon River, Stone and Light, and Pomonac's Transition. Thank you. Marsha was nominated in 2018 for the Blue Light Press Pushcart Prize for her poem Hairpins and a Box of Chocolates, and was the third prize recipient of, oops, I don't have it.
Super poem contest.
Thank you. The super poem.
Yeah.
Instead of Super Bowl, that would be
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
Welcome, Marsha.
Thank you.
Now you take over.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy, and thanks, Daniel, for having me. I think the last time I was here was during pandemic, and
Can I, I'm sorry, Marsha, I got run into a technical glitch. Maggie, could you please log out and then log back in? I'm running into a problem with your connection. So Megan, if you could please log out and then log back in, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Marsha.
Okay. Yes. It's funny how we we start to measure our time like before pandemic and after pandemic. It's so funny. But anyway, when Daniel when we were doing an intake concerning the Zoom, he asked me a question, and it was about the national flower, I believe, of Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
And off the top of my head, I said hibiscus, right? Because that's how I remember it for all my life, and even my brother and my sister. But everyone else is now saying it's the Chaconia. So I attribute that to the Mandela effect. I don't know if anybody has ever heard it, but Daniel and Damien, and he's here, he gave a perfect example of what that is. And I'll tell him, put it in the chat if you can. But I found that really interesting. I just had to share that. It's really Chaconia. But I guess it's in the collective minds of the people who are together, and like my brother, my sister, even people from my old primary school said it's hibiscus. But I just want to say, coming from, I'm giving greetings from Kappa, Caribbean American Poetry Association, where Dr. Beryl Williams is the founder and the the founder of the Caribbean American Association. She is also the president. The secretary, and Johnny Victor is a treasurer. So I'll read the first poem I'm going to read. You can see the background and everything coming from the islands. But I'm going to read hibiscus because that's what I choose. I like that flower. So I chose this poem from R. Rodriguez, and it's called Hibiscus. Far atop the heights of Uraquan Mountain, soft winds caress my face with a gentle touch. I find the rosy hibiscus along my path, its funnel-shaped blooms open by the road, to please the bees and the darting hummingbird. The rosy petals flutter in the wind, adorning the dirt road with youthful beauty. Here, the hummingbird sips to quench its thirst, touching the flower with delicate grace. Hibiscus, your charm graces earth and sky. Blessed are the eyes that behold your splendor, radiant beneath the Caribbean sun. No rival can match your vibrant rosy hue. In awe, I proclaim God's wondrous works, and exclaiming, marvelous are your creations. My eyes have beheld their glory revealed. I guess that's an ode to the hibiscus. Okay, and my next poem I'm going to read El Shaddai. And this is one I wrote in 2023. El Shaddai. The earth thirsts. She's harbored hope for so long. Year after year has come and gone. The stars in the sky of heaven, the reflection of your expression. Promise of fertility, gentle and full of mercy. All it takes is one drop to cool sin's hostility. El Shaddai. And this poem is called Seasons. I'll just read the epigraph, and it comes from Ecclesiastes 3, 1 to 2. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot. Ecclesiastes 3, 1 to 2. Seasons. Fall is when time winds back and I pack on the layers of clothes, the only extra pounds I want on my body, but alas, planting season is over, but I persist with winter interests like clivia, camellia, cyclamen, and hellebores. Flowers that bridge the gap between the celestial and the mundane. Portals open and close, night and day, contend within the solstices, but the equinox is an equal and gracious player, serving up time evenly on a platter to my circadian rhythm. Poetry is an overflowing fountain of love that even when the sun goes down, I have these snapshots of captured time that I suspend high in the sky and it shines its light on me, a perpetual summer, a sun that heals me. And with that, I'm going to read a poem called Poetry Heals. I read this for Paula. I believe it was last year. Every year she does the poetry festival, the Shore Poets, and the theme was Poetry Heals. It's the wind in the sails that takes me away on a hot summer's day. The sound of water as it flows skips over skipping rocks where green moss grows. The way of a bird as it flies high in the skies, its wings gliding, mesmerizing. The satisfied purr of a Persian, they say it relieves pain and improves circulation. The garden I cultivate, sunflowers, bees, and apple trees. The winter I took to hibernate, my own world in which to create. The people in my community, the healers, preachers, spoken word divas, and word dancers. That's Paula's favorite word dancers. Okay. And my next poem is for Poppy. That's his nickname. That's my nephew. His real name is William. And he's had some time of it, growing up from adolescent into adulthood. You know how it goes sometimes. He's run into some trouble, but such a wonderful young man. And we continue to pray for him. For Poppy, 5 years in the state penitentiary, and you crossed the threshold to adulthood. You were only 19 when you entered the system. It was the year of the Me Too generation when women marched on Washington. Sexual abuse and harassment was put to the question, and Copernic took a knee. You survived COVID in containment, surrounded by death, in a cell block where your cellmate took his last breath. The day they released you, you shed your prison clothes like a python sheds his skin, threw them in the trash bin in the kitchen, and showered for an hour. washing away the stench of lost freedom, brutality, and free labor. Bleak nights, ruthless fights, and alone in the hole, washing them down the drain, but still the tattoos remain. That was for Papi, and he's doing very good right now, I must add. And this next poem is called Young King. I wrote this, I visited Jay Vegas. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Jay Vegas, and he had this venue in Oceanside called The Angle. It was a restaurant, and I visited there and came up with this poem, Young King. Angles are formed when two lines intersect at a point. They meet in the nook, in the dimly lit corner of the restaurant with its sleek bar. Caramel princess serving up drinks, patrons serving up words of hurt and disappointment, word porn, sex and violence, and introspection. Talia, heaven's precious jewel, the dew from the living God, brush in hand, pauses when he says, struggling got no hue. She paints bold strokes of the color black, strokes on the color back. The young king center stage, anointed, the tip of his pen soaked in blood, appointed, words flowing from his tongue, heart to heart, and breast to breast, breathing fire from his chest. Young king. And this is a new one, fairly new. It's called Bitter Cup of Sorrows. Just watching everything that's happening in this season that we're in. Not fire, not ice, but wind. From where and whence it flows, I do not know. Only portals can tell. They usher us forth like light. The womb was my room where I lay as an handbreadth, knitted by the master craftsman. You do something poetic, the changing of the guards and the four seasons, mountains of brass and gold to clothe me, songs of Solomon to soothe me. But winter has a weight of her own. You collect my tears in a bottle, place them under your altar, where souls leave this place like passing shadows, fleeting from the slice of your sickle. Gathering babies, old men, young men, and women. Influencers, tick tock goes the clock. It's a bitter cup of sorrows. And this poem is from the book Night Visions. Oh, you can't see it because I have a background, so you can't really see the book. But this one is called A Raven or a Dove. On the cusp of transformation, warm days melt into chilly nights. Death plunders my apple blossoms, and majestic trees shed their glory. Each day brings a new giant, friend or foe. Sometimes you never know. The drum beats louder, harder, the steady percussion of one heart to another. I listen for the trumpet's clarion call to wake me up. We must all wake up. I'm dreaming of flood waters again, an eternal flow that chills my soul. A steady stream of night visions makes my bone tremble. Huge wall of water. We were always threatened by water. Even Noah had a way of escape. And that is so. That's from Night Visions, and I'll read In Clandestine Hours. Why do you circle the purple loneliness of night and seldom blush before the sun? That's an epigraph from Ho One Hung. The moon creeps up over my sleepy town like a barn owl, staring into the dark. Quietness lingers, a thick fog that lulls me to sleep, bone weary, layers and layers of dreams. But for some, the night is a setting for their restlessness. They haunt bars and strip clubs, searching for the salve to heal the man-sized hole in their souls. We were made to create, to bring forth life. The mind is a battlefield, at other times barren, a frustrated womb, a walled-off city on a hill. The universe, our incubator, who will plant the seeds? And I believe I have some more time and I'll do the last poem. It's called Night Visions. It's kind of long, but this is the title of the book, Night Visions. And this is the poem called Night Visions. The human body is composed in the airy balance of cobwebs, cake batter, and universe. That's an epigraph from Nike Passy. Sharp intuition and discernment bestowed. Yet mundane task of the everyday conflicts my soul like steely fingers around my neck, clutching, scraping, suffocating, a clogged pipeline or a failed heart. I must breathe. You anointed my hands to pen these visions of storms, potentious winds, and hearts failing out of fear. At times it's bitter medicine to my bones, but how can we drink of the sweet and not receive the bitter also? Moon trails me by night, clarity and truth by day. My love waxes and wanes, soars above the clouds and expands within the cosmos of my heart, swelling wide to high tide. It thunders inside the electric currents of Niagara, suddenly ceasing. The flow of the universe pulls me out into the celestial. Moonbeams and airships, flashes of light, and I'm flying through tunnels, falling through dark crevices. A young woman gives a signal, and a huge entrance opens. She enters, and I float towards the secret room. But the door slams shut, access denied. When the moon embraces the sun, the tides will turn. Poseidon gets his revenge on the inhabitants of the coast. Leviathan waits, restlessly stirring, loose from the abyss. Change comes, and with it, judgment. After the revolution, blood moon rising. Thank you. Night Visions.
Thank you,
And
Marsha. That was great.
I did it in time.
Yeah, you did great. You did great, and you read 10 very moving poems. I like the beginning with the hibiscus. I didn't expect to have reference of our little rehearsal in there, but that was great.
Yes.
I like the hummingbird on the hibiscus and the El Sadi in terms of the importance of cooling hostility was certainly very timing. And that reading that you did about seasons and starting with Ecclesiastes reminded me of the rhythms of life and the line that you had in there, the flower of love as well. The poetry heals. I remember Gladys Henderson said that prayer is another form of poetry. And
Right.
it's interesting how you had said that a poem helps improves pain, and how you shared this as yet another application of poetry. The very moving poem to Poppy in terms of the troubles that he faced and kind of the historical context and that vision of him, throwing his prison garb in the garbage in that 1 hour shower to wash off all that experience was very moving. And the young king and that restaurant in Oceanside, and the character breathing fire, quite moving. And the wind of the coming out of the sorrows. That was about the wind, and you made reference. I was thinking of the comfort you reflected back on being in your mother's womb, and I remembered when Mary went to see Elizabeth, her cousin, and John the Baptist leapt in the womb when Jesus came, which
yes,
reminded me of. And the chilly nights and the warm days with the raven, and the dove, a nice little contrast between those two, and with the vows, how the moon creeps up on the town, and how you how some of us are safe in our dreams and others are hanging out in bars and strip clubs.
In
I've
the
done
box.
both
Yeah. Restless,
bars,
restless.
but the restlessness and the beautiful ending in the human with the one poem from Night Vision, how
Thank
you
you.
lead a life, drink the sweet, but you got to take in the bitter as well. Well, it's amazing how
Right.
much you packed in 10 poems in 20 minutes. So great, everybody. Thank you again. We'll bring you back. We look forward to your encore. Going to
Okay.
move
Okay.
on to the open reading. And I'm having a little bit of technical challenges today, so let me see if I can pull up the slide for the open reading. And I don't think it's appearing. If it doesn't appear right on screen, I'll work around it. Okay, so it doesn't appear on the screen. So here goes. For the open read, basically what we'd like to do is just please only one poem. We're all, poets here. I'm sure we have lots of stuff, but please resist the temptation, even if they're short, to read more than one poem, because your definition of short and someone else's is short is different. So please only one poem, no more than 5 minutes. Please wait to be called upon. Please keep your microphone muted, and we will call you up in groups of 3. So the first group of 3, and I've got anyone who hasn't put their name in chat, please put it in now if you want to read, and we will get to everyone. So please rest assured, even if I don't call your name initially, we will give you an opportunity to share your poem. So the first group of 3 is Marvin, followed by Joyce, followed by Mike. So Marvin, over to you.
Dan, could you hear me?
Yes, we can, Marvin.
Okay, it's called Two Doors Down. He only took teeny steps, and when trying to sit, his body would bend like a slowed down toy. His mouth would almost touch his chest as he slept in the sun in a rusted chair before his house. When Mr. Moody was awake as he could be, he would watch us play ball, and I always waved to him. He raised a hand shoulder high and moved his fingers toward me. I always liked old people, and Mr. Moody might be 100. Now's your chance to meet him, said Mom, when bringing in the mail. The postman made a mistake. He delivered us this letter for 2 doors down for Mr. Moody. Go ring his bell, give him his letter, maybe talk to him a little. When I rang the bell 2 doors down, a woman pretty old appeared, invited me in to meet my father. Seated in their backyard garden, he was drinking lemonade. Have some, my boy. Dora, pour him some. Good lemonade, Mr. Moody. I like it, he said. His voice was like sandpaper. You're the boy who gets those hits. Other kids also, Mr. Moody, but not like you, he said. A ladybug was crawling on the blue veins of the man's hand. May I, Mr. Moody? He saw the ladybug, nodded. I flicked it away. Your hand is warm, Sonny. Your hand is cold, Mr. Moody. I'm old, that's why. I even fought in the war. What war was that? The war against the Nazis. I was at the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge. I learned about it in school. It was brutal. Worse than that, the voice, even hoarser now. We were frozen and taken a licking, outmanned, outgunned. Ever see red snow, Sonny? No, sir. Red snow everywhere. You won that battle, didn't you? We did, if you could call it that. Patton saved us. Patton? He was a tough guy, I read. I shook his hand, Sonny. Patton, wow. Wilbur, here are some of the few still left, pointing to a plate of cupcakes. Cupcakes, Sonny, Nora makes them. She gets on my nerves sometimes, but the cupcakes are worth fighting for. They're good, I said, munching away. Looking around, I saw tall flowers, purples, yellows, and red, and on sticks, envelopes with pictures of radishes, tomatoes, and beans. Very beautiful garden, Mr. Moody. When I turned around, he was asleep. Come back. He has plenty of war stories to tell if you like that sort of stuff, his pretty old daughter said. Thank you, I said. And to myself while walking home, thank you, mailman, for delivering the message that 2 doors down could be a war or a world away.
Thank you, Marvin. Well done. Okay. Over to Joyce.
Good afternoon. I want to just thank Marvin for that wonderful poem, vivid and evocative, and I loved hearing it. You did a great job, Marvin.
Thank you.
I'll put my camera on. I think my camera should be going on.
If it doesn't, don't worry about it.
Hang on. Well, it says it's on, but I don't know if it's on.
Okay, just go ahead.
It's called Closing on a Condo. I wish I had a way to release my feelings, like when a bottle of champagne is opened, it goes pop. If only I could uncork dread of change. If fear and anxiety of living in a new place could ease as easily during this time when health issues also debilitate my body and fog my thinking. So when persistent pain and muddled thoughts overcome me, I hang on to these words like a dangling participle. Now again, I turn to words and pray. Writing saves me. Oh, yes.
Thank you, Joyce. Well done.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Mike Daly, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. In honor of Valentine's Day, I'm going to read you a poem I wrote for my wife several years ago, but she still's with me. It's called Heartfelt Poetry. I'd buy my wife some flowers, but she might have allergies. If so, she would berate me and knock me to my knees and torture me incessantly each time she had to sneeze. I'd buy my wife some flowers, but she might have allergies. So I thought I'd buy my wife some earrings, but she'd question my intent. She'd think I'm feeling guilty for some place that I went. And I know that if I did so, she'd complain of money spent. So I could buy my wife some earrings, but she'd question my intent. I'd buy my wife some clothing, but she'd take it back, I'm sure. I like her to dress frisky, but she dresses more demure. And if I misguess sizes, that pain I can't endure. So I'd buy my wife some clothing, but she'd take it back, I'm sure. Well, I could give my wife a diamond. That's just a lump of coal that's been buried under pressure in a deep and dank dark hole. And to give your sweetheart rocks, she'd think me but a troll. So I'd buy my wife a diamond, but that's just a lump of coal. Well, I could take my wife out dining, but we'd fight just where we went. She'd say that she can't eat all that. We should get something to share. But her taste and mine are different. I'd find nothing I like there. I'd take my wife out dining, but we'd fight about just where. So I'm left with indecision on what her gift should be. I've got to get her something or risk an injury. A card you'd buy from Walmart. Well, that just isn't me. So I hope that will settle for some heartfelt poetry. I've been married for 54 years now, and these poems seem to help, I think.
Well done. Having just gotten mixed reviews to what I thought was a very thoughtful Valentine's Day present, that certainly resonates. Okay, thanks, Mike. The next group of three is Damien, followed by Megan, followed by, I don't know, Raymond, Ray. I don't know. There's another name. I'm not sure if I can. That does ring a bell with someone. I can't read my own handwriting. We'll come back to that person at the end. So Damien and then Megan and then I'll try to figure out who the third person was. Go ahead, Damien. You got to put your mic on.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I like to write a lot, sharing books, but most of what I share is for free, like here at an event where I just learned some stuff from Marsha and the other readers. So I'm going to read what I just learned. Measuring our time here on Earth by the service of purposeful gifts, touching on our appreciation for these words of affirmation, far atop the heights of mountains evading sight, a funnel-shaped bloom forms with youthful beauty. The hummingbird sits to taste the sweet embrace of hibiscus and experiences an embodiment of grace. Year after year, the stars promise fertility. And fear after fear, we overcome futility. There is a time for everything, a time to be born, a time to die, and a time to decide. To decide when you are ready to accept that you are as ready as you will ever be. For you see, to my circadian rhythm, poetry is a waterfall windmill geothermal circulation, massaging the magma chambers, venting all the world's worries in a state of percolation. So shed your privatized for-profit prison system snakeskins. Breathe fire from your heart center and swim, passing shadows, caressing the edge of you-know-who's sickle, wondering if it will hurt or if it will tickle. Though it is the drums that call the trumpets to wake up the rainbow warriors blushing before the sun, reflecting off the surface of the moon. A psychic satellite, a space station watching over the ocean, swollen with anticipation of your arrival, your realization that we came here for something more than survival. So please, anoint these hands with the medicine of my ancestors. Their blood, sweat, and tears were left behind to remind us of each other in the universal language of suffering amongst one another, acknowledging what we've all been overcoming. Well, he only took a few steps every day, just enough to make it to his porch. His body bends like a broken instrument over a rusted chair as it holds his place on the surface of Earth. It spins faster than he can care to keep up with. But a tall glass of lemonade sits between us. It represents what we do with what life gives us. And so a garden exists 2 doors down, and it grows the future as the past tends to the soil in fecundity. And the fear and anxiety of living in a new place clashes with the awareness that familiarity could spell the end of all else. So I'd buy you a ticket out of here, but you might not like the grass on the other side. And I'd buy you a rocking chair, but you may have already taken the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Damien. Well done. That was the first for us, such a poem written on the spot. Well done. Good summary. Okay, I figured out the last name, and I guess familiarity does breed, and it's not Contempt Barbara, but it was Barbara's name I had written down there. So it's Megan, followed by Barbara Southern. So Megan, over to you. Remember, put your mic on.
Great to be here. This is called First Page. I want to trace a path, fingers humming with love, down our story's spine, find our beginning, embrace how we became. We tell the tale so many times, it feels like soft, well-loved leather. We met at a party. I almost didn't go. A book on the beach was far more appealing than loud music and people I didn't know. Was this our beginning? We were always moving towards this moment. Our moms met when I was still in the NICU. My mom uncertain about what it might be like to have a blind child. But when she saw you as a toddler, jumping down the stairs with your brother, she knew all would be well. Though our parents lost touch, does that mean we began with our moms? Or did we begin with the doctors who saved our lives, our bodies bursting into the world before they were ready? Or did we begin with our families deciding to live where they did? Since we can't touch the first page of our book, we'll keep flipping the pages, reveling in the texture of the dreams we built, and no, we'll never read the final line of our journey. Thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful reflection, Megan. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, Barbara Southern, over to you. Sorry, I couldn't read your name written there. My apologies. Barbara, you got to remember to put your mic on.
Oh, sorry. I can't see all of you because I have a shared screen for some reason in front. So it's good to be here. And Marsha, I loved your poems. They were beautiful. They had such lovely rhythms and rhymes. So I'm going to read a poem, a Valentine's Day poem. So Mike, this will accompany yours. I love Valentine's Day. So this is what I wrote. On Valentine's Day, lost men wander around the supermarket. They pick up this bouquet and that, put them back, wander to the candy section, hold each heart-shaped box as if the chocolates inside will tell them what to do. With serious faces, they wander like mathematicians, thinking out a formula that has escaped them for years. They pick up clusters of red balloons with the words, "Be my Valentine," scribed in white. Place them back on the table next to the flowers, bouquets that have multiplied overnight, taking over the whole front section of the supermarket. They grab the largest spray of blooms they see with firm resolution, looking as if a huge boulder has been lifted off their burdened shoulders. Thank you.
Well done, Barbara. Okay, the next group of three is JR, followed by Sherry Lynn, followed by Dawn. So JR, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Marsha. What a wonderful reading. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you all. And happy St. Valentine's Day. So this is from book 10, written Valentine's week of 21. Change, change, change. Terrifying and exhilarating, the idea of change, an upset or an uplift, something different that's not the same. Exhilarating to see, do, think, a new perspective. Terrifying to know the old is going, gone. Times are changing. The more things change, the less they stay the same. Less normal in isolation times, less fraternizing in person, more senseless chatting via text, more days wasted on social media, megabytes, more dead air space on phone calls to family and neighbors who need nothing but to be left alone. I wonder if butterflies are frightened by the esoteric metamorphosis, reforming a shape, remaking a structure, rethinking how the world views you. Does the green grass flatten by winter's snow mind the changes to soft spring breezes, yellow crocus blooms dance in rebirth? Climate, change. Make change happen. Not as easy as jingling coins in your pocket, pulling out 2 nickels for a slim down dime, pennies loose with clinging lint, scuffed quarters who turn tail to face the strange. No corner payphone to check for spare change. Keep the change. Change the who and you become someone else. Change the what and our planet flips upside wrong. Change the when, but that can't happen in paradox-free times. Change the where, and you could be anywhere else in the world where there is still a pandemic or not. Exciting and terrifying, the one constant, welcome or not, the one thing we can count on to keep us vigilant, hopeful, cautious, looking over our shoulder, rechecking our budget, needs, gas tank, salon trips of new hair, nail shades, new you, new hue, small change, big dividends. Change ain't easy. Changes scare me. Change, don't change. Nothing stays the same forever. But please, don't go change it for me. I love you just the way you are. Thank you.
Well done. I was reminded of David Bowie's Changes. I listened to that. Okay, Sherry Lynn, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Dan and Kathy, for hosting, and Marsha for being here, sharing your art. This is such a treasure. And I love hearing all the open read. I'm going to read a poem called Soul Dancer. It was in the Bard's Annual last year. Quote, every intention sets energy into motion, whether you are conscious of it or not. Unquote, Gary Zukav. The time for souls to leave sleeping bodies, rise to the stars, and unite with time immemorial begins as eyes close. They fly, flow, and visit with others in their enduring soulful place as we rest our deep sleep rhythms. Depending on when they return seems to ensure whether we have a peaceful rest or wake in nightmarish startles. This is how I came to learn. My soul is a lingerer with spirits of eons past, a small price to pay for those horrific panics jolting me from another terror scenario, waking as the clock flashes 3 a.m. with my soul scrambling her return. Because it is in the knowing my soul dancer may swirl with Gandhi, Monet, Aristotle, Einstein, Tubman, Hamilton, or with dear loved ones gone, or extending peace offerings beyond, or holding weeping souls needing blankets to wrap them in love. The kind with no conditions or expectations, as there is no bitterness, no ego, no scarcity, no judging, in the place where essences gather. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry Lynn. Well done. Okay, Don Billings, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know if other people have told you this, Dan. My screen is frozen on Marsha Nelson, so I can't see any of the readers when they're reading. I don't know if that's a technical thing you can solve.
I cannot. I have to deal with the hand that I was dealt. So, but thank you.
Okay. I find that a bit odd, Don, because I also have Marsha, taking up the screen, but I also have a column of all of us.
Yeah.
Do you not have little square?
So let's not do at the end of the reading. Let's just deal with the hand we got. I can't at this point. We're into it. So go ahead.
That's fine. This is based on a real occurrence that happened in Minnesota. When the Icemen come. Have you dark skin and a tattoo? They're coming for you. Keep an ear cocked for that whistle. It tells. They're coming for you. Smashing into your car as you flee. Smash the window, drag you out. Rough you up, put you down. Put a knee in your back. Spray your eyes. Take your phone. Sell it to a pawn shop. You tell them, I'm an American citizen. It doesn't matter, right or wrong. If they want, if they're told to, they're coming for you. Would you believe this is our country? Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Okay, we're over to now Namrita and then Dan Kerr, and then we'll get anyone else who wants to read. Okay, Namrita, over to you.
Hello, everyone. The title of my poem is Chocolate-Colored Bookshelves. The rich chocolate bookshelves sit side by side and look at me, as though saying, it's been a while. I smile, they glance back and blow kisses. They hold my cherished pals of many years who talk to me and enrich me. On busy days when time is short, I go and sit beside them to say goodnight. The smell of their pages settles me. Now and then there's a glorious surprise waiting in their pages. Dried flowers, leaves, a reminder of my kids' childhood, like discovering dollar bills in the pocket of an old coat. I see friendly scribbles on the pages with names and grades, complete with giggles. My fingers trace them and feel a hint of a hug. A few books belong to my father, The Good Earth and Razor's Edge, the rest set ablaze by time. They bring me joy, like when I would rest my head on his chest. I wish for kids to sit surrounded by books for a while, for parents to pick a book and gently lift open the first page, glide the fingers across, and help them imagine the world inside. They will find their own pals and create characters, and little gods they will be. Alas, the video games have stealthily captured their hearts. If I were you, I'd start with a single two-shelf bookshelf and fill it up with the most colorful books, an upholstered chair, a blanket, a sippy cup of their favorite drink on a Sesame Street table beside it. The video games and social media will tiptoe nearby, clear their throats to announce their arrival, but never cross the sacred boundary.
Thank, thank you. Well done. Okay, the next poem is by Dan Kerr, and I'm going to give a little preamble to this one. And you've heard me say this many times. My favorite founding father is Thomas Jefferson. And one of the reasons for that is he said, never let a disagreement with regard to religion, philosophy, or politics come between friends. And what I believe, and I'm not suggesting it's anyone here on this reading, but oftentimes we have strongly held views and then we seek out evidence that confronts those views and we get them from sources that reinforce those views. So this one is a reflection on what's been happening in Minneapolis, and it's called Good Lies. When the same news sources that reported from the mostly peaceful riots said that Renee Good had been murdered by ICE agents, I thought of other things I've heard over the last few years. Natural immunity does not work. You'll not get COVID-19 if you've been inoculated, and it's unsafe no matter what we do to send kids back to school. Donald Trump is a Russian agent. Mayorkas often said the border is secure, and many people said President Biden is sharp as a tack. Immigrant agents on horseback are whipping Haitians at the border. Hunter Biden's laptop is a hoax, and inflation is transitory. Who told Ms. Good it was okay to block traffic during an immigration operation, to ignore instructions from the police, and to ram an ICE agent with her car? We didn't hear from the prosecutors, the protesters in Minnesota, when President Obama presented Tom Homan with a presidential award, or as the Obama administration expelled 3 million undocumented immigrants from the USA. I'm sorry this mother of three is dead, and I'm sorry about these lies that we've heard over the years. Did you hear the one about Jesse Smollett being attacked by MAGA Republicans on an icy cold Chicago night? Thank you. Okay, so we've now heard from everybody. So let me change the view here. And let's go to the gallery here.
May I read, Daniel?
Hold on, I was getting to that. So who is that?
Yes. May I read?
Yeah, who is that? I can't see who it is.
Sandra.
Sandra, yeah. So we'll get Sandra. Is there anyone else who wants to read? Other than Kathy? So we got Sandra. Oh, and we got Shu. Okay, great, Shu. I'm writing down the names here, and I see any other hands or voices?
How about, does Pramila want to read? Pramila's with us. Does she want to read? And Melva.
And Hiram wants to read. Okay, Hiram. Okay, and we'll go another round after we hear from Sandra, Shu, and Hiram. We'll see if Pramila wants to read. Okay, Sandra, over to you.
Marsha, thank you for your poetry. I love the imagery. And a lot of the poems I will remember. for that reason. Thank you very much. My poem is for the soul of fellow poet, Renee Nicole Good. Flagrant. It was not a matter of now you see it, now you don't. No magical disappearance of the facts. They remain, altered to align with the indifference of calculating minds warped by power. Minds refusing to believe clear thinking exists. The facts cannot be isolated by the frost of a wintry day or adapted for a game of neither truth nor consequences. The force feeding of falsehoods will not negate the bad taste on the palate of intellect. We saw the undeniable. A reckless shooting unfolded before all eyes. A murder perpetrated by a license for power and control. A license issued to a frozen heart spewing a vapor of hatred. It was not trickery or sleight of hand, only a finger on the trigger of intolerance, a finger filled with a venom of malice, positioned past that of no return, poised to make a point. It pulled, pulled, pulled with flagrant disregard. We saw the irrefutable. The facts remain.
Thank you, Sandra. Shu, over to you. Shu, you got to put your mic on. You go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It's so wonderful, to see everyone and to hear all the beautiful readings. So I'm going to share one of the poem titled, Sometimes I Loved You. Once I loved you, now, long ago. Every even memory grows thin, a mist losing at the edge of thought. And still, now and then, those stolen hours break in, flooding the quiet mind. Sometimes I loved you, now too far to reach. The lonely tree, its shadow stretched across the sunset, the abandoned nest still echoing the goose's mirthful cry, the empty bench by the water, still waiting for soft whispers. Somewhere I loved you, now nowhere to find. But now, passion has burned to nothing, tears have turned to salt, wounds have grown numb, sorrow has scattered into ash. And yet, somehow, I still love you. Thank you. And enjoy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Shu. Well done. Okay, Hiram.
Thank you, Dan.
Glad you're with us.
Well, appreciate you being here. And I'm sorry I missed Miss Nelson's, what I'm sure was wonderful poetry. I'm kind of hoping that you'll have a chance to maybe read one at the end so that at least my ears will be able to enjoy.
We will have her back for an encore.
Great. This poem is steeped in, it's a love poem. It's steeped in history. It's titled Right Here, Right Now. As he was climbing the garden wall, Romeo, in all legends and moonlight, began to realize deep down and surely the glorious power of his arms. And so he flew beyond himself in love. Oh, yes, he did. Even though he was and still is just smoke. And when, too, almost as long ago, one of the most fabled explorers alive finally found freshets of water in the desert, gurgling like sighs, there must have been a cry in his heart Yes, a love in flight that can never, ever be described in tales gone by, no matter what. So then, when beyond all discovery, the only daybreak in the world blooms and flows right here, right now, on your shoulder, to rise in my arms in a story, is it any surprise that even the clouds shake their heads and say, oh, no, 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 no. There are too many wings already. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Well done, Hiram. Okay, so let's go around in the gallery. And Pramel, if anyone else wants to read other than Kathy. So I know we had Dr. Bronson with us. I know we've got Pramela. Pramela, would you like to read?
Yeah, sure.
All right, go ahead. And then we'll move Pramela and then Kathy. Anyone else?
Melba.
Okay.
Melba.
Melba, would you like to read?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see your vision. Okay, that's fine. So we'll go Pramela, we'll go Melva, and then we'll go Kathy. Pramela, over to you.
Thank you. Demilitarize your lips. Why say deploy when you can say use? Sing the one you desire to be simply of use. Why grab food when you can pick up or lift that fruit, taste its flavor, even if you're rushing? I definitely don't want to respond, shoot, when someone says they've got an idea. Go on is a pleasant push that welcomes. Why say tied up when you can say busy? This image of torture gives me indigestion. And why marching orders, for heaven's sake, when it's just instructions from a boss or spouse? I certainly don't want to crush the competition or beat the crap out of a digital game. Why does everyone want me to do the drill? And why do friends talk of precision targeting and limiting collateral damage as if no humans are on a path of destruction when countries are at war? When did a family fight become transformed from drama into going nuclear? Excuse me, I have not gone AWOL or MIA just because I did not text back. I was simply taking time out to lounge. Thank you.
Well done, Pramela. Very timely. Okay, Melva, over to you. Thank you for waiting. So Melva, you just got to turn your mic on.
Hello, I was thanking Marsha for her great reading and everybody else. This is a poem that came out in the Nassau County Poet Laureate Society Review. It was a editor's choice. And Valentine's Day is a special day because that was the day that my dad went away looking for freedom. And this poem is called Boleros. On a dusky evening, skin still warm as the sun's rays slowly sink, a faraway memory comes. I glean notes, sense vague melodies. When I was a child, my mother would sing while she cleaned the house. Barría, trapeaba, sacudía el ritmo. She swept, mopped, and dusted to the rhythm of the songs. She would sing the latest hits, slow or fast, depending on her mood. She mostly crooned boleros. Slow songs you dance in one spot, barely moving, squeezed tight in your sweetheart's arms. Or like my mom, holding a broom close to her chest, a make-believe lover.
boleros about broken hearts, being in love, of fealty, a lover's forever love. They will never forget you, nor leave you. Of lovers who broke their promises, left you for another, or to find their dreams. Songs of passion, ardent kisses. Some were happy and full of hope. Many were sad and full of angst. En mi corazón, en mi alma, I still hear my mom crooning in the key of love, in the key of heartbreak. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Milva. Okay, Kathy, over to you.
What an interesting line, in the key of heartbreak. Very interesting. This is a salute to Don's poem. And just to close it a little, I see these things going on in the news, and I try to imagine, what it would be like to be in their place instead of my safe place here on Long Island. So this poem is called Every Now and Then. Every now and then I stand in my living room, looking at the door. Friends, familiar faces come through it, packages left on the front porch. No one ever takes them. I live on Main Street. I have learned to feel safe with doors left unlocked, tenants in and out all hours. I think of the knocks on doors in the 1930s, 1940s in Germany. Ancestry DNA tells me I'm 33% Jewish. My mother was adopted. Can't imagine hearing 3 knocks in the night, thud, 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 loud, aggressive, being grabbed by my bathrobe collar, barefoot, freezing, cold outside, dinner cooking on the stove, my TV program concluding, thrown into the back of a truck with others, just as bewildered. No time to say, what are you doing? Do you have the right person? Where are you taking me? My dinner will burn. Maybe take the house with it. How dare you? My government is reminding me of these days, these times, making me feel I should take caution, maybe be ready to flee. I could invest in a bulletproof vest, purchase a gun with rubber bullets, non-lethal. I don't want to kill anyone, just stop them, self-defense. I am thinking this will never happen to me, not here, not in my lifetime, not because I am special, innocent, exempt. Rather, it's just not my turn.
Thank you, Kathy. Well done. Okay, so we'll go back to our featured poem, Marsha, for an encore. Marsha,
Okay.
there you go.
Yes. All righty. So this one, I'm reading from the book, All Rise, Stand Up, Holy Gates, um, the one that was done in 2008. These are contemplative poems, I would say. This is called Dawning. Every day I search for truth, though hearing and seeing my crime is not feeling. So I plunge into the inner recesses of my mind. A blank page is what I find. I fill in the void with true colors in time, crippled by fear, a lonely fight. In the darkest hour, truth comes along. Revealed by the light is the true meaning of the breadth, the length, the depth, and the height. Mornings are lit, and his spirit runs free. Haunts of an ancient peace, he speaks to me. Lively it plays and rustles the leaves of a tree, glistened in dewdrops, an outcome of the night's release. The sun arise in a brilliant array, one of life's grandest creeds, while a single yellow blossom thrives among thick binding weeds. Off in the distance, innocent children play, but promptly regarded is a battleship docked at a bay. Then I say, with every rising of the sun, his truth is in nature and all is done. Those are the kind of poems I have in that book, Kathy. And then a lot of prayers.
Well done, Marsha.
Thank you.
Kathy, over to you for a closing word and to introduce the next poet.
I want to just mention to everyone, and I think maybe we should do this routinely, but Marsha has a book called Night Visions, as she's mentioned, and that's on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
And the second book, All Rise, Stand Up, Holy Gates, you have to contact Marsha
Yeah,
directly.
see me. Yeah.
So anyone interested, we can give you the information if you need to contact her. Next month, we're going to have a marvelous woman. Her poems are narrations, narrative poems, stories, and she's just so interesting. You all love her. Her name is Swati Srivastava, and it's a pleasure to have met her, know her, and the book What Unites Us has one of her stories. I have to tell you, on her website, story after story, and every time I read one, I thought, oh, this is the one I'll put in the book. And then I would read the second one and go, no, this is the one I'll put in. No, third, fourth. They were all so good. And so I think you'll enjoy her very much. And that's for next month. In the meantime, Marsha, thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful wording, beautiful language. You read love, beautifully. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll stop the recording here,
Like
but
that.
I'll keep the site open for those who want to interact with one another.